So we have to try to think of creating stories that can really elevate the actual purpose of their buying that piece of diamond or jewelry. And that's the area that I believe we have a lack of stories in. We have a lack of product communication in, especially in our segment of diamond solitaires. But in general, if you look at our industry, we're actually in the luxury segment. And in this luxury segment, people call it a challenge to be able to tell the customer that you have to pay me more for my extra effort, my extra vision or something amazing that I'm doing. And that's why they usually call it a challenge. But I think we can look at it as an opportunity for creating something of value in an industry that already has place as a luxury industry. We have to try to think of creating stories that can really elevate the actual purpose of their buying that piece of diamond or jewelry. And that's the area that I believe we have a lack of stories in. We have a lack of product communication in, especially in our segment of diamond solitaires. Diamonds itself have a very rich, powerful story along the years. How they were discovered, how they came to be, how they were recognized as precious gems and amazing things to gift and to express your royalty. Think about jewelry, which all of us will probably be called in the future as it used to be. You know, when you हीरे की असली परख सिर्फ जौहरी को होती है, and that conversation needs to retain its importance and retain its value as a position in the industry. And once you are GIA graduate. Good morning everyone, and thank you for giving me the chance. I'm not from a generation that would normally be called chief guests and have the experience or the years of being in the industry to tell about the future. But I thought I'd rather share my ideas about what we could together build for the industry. I thought there are a few ideas that I was personally working on in our company, and I thought I'd share those kind of things, and maybe some of us can capture on them and build in our own way wherever we are in the industry in the future. So what I realize is most of our industry is locally is made of efficiency minded people. Everyone is working on how I can save 2% in my manufacturing operations, how I can hire the least cost people to make things work, how I can reduce my margin and make it more popular and be the person providing things at the lowest cost, the cheapest designs and the cheapest diamonds. But in general, if you look at our industry, we're actually in the luxury segment. And in this luxury segment, people call it a challenge to be able to tell the customer that you have to pay me more for my extra effort, my extra vision or something amazing that I'm doing. And that's why they usually call it a challenge. But I think we can look at it as an opportunity for creating something of value in an industry that already has place as a luxury industry, already has place for added value in a lot of different ways. So I'm just going to begin with a little bit about our company. We are called Venus Jewel. We are a 55-year-old diamond manufacturing company based in Surat and in Mumbai. Surat is where our amazing crafting hub is. We are bestowed with the responsibility to craft amazing natural diamonds. I don't like to call it manufacturing because it's a lot more than manufacturing. We are more in the solitaires segment of loose natural diamonds, 30 cents to 10, 15, 20, 30 carats. And our focus since many years has been to ensure that we are at the in the front of the customer, understanding very clearly what they would like from us and from others like us, and solve industry problems before they arise, or after they arise, be the first ones to solve them. Um, in general, I am, the third generation of the family, carrying that weight of amazing people before me, and having to ensure that I, at minimum, keep how they've done things sustained. In our effort, we always try to be as transparent as we can be with our customers, and ensure that ethics is at the core of everything that we do. A few ways we do this is we mostly sell through our website to customers all over the world, and we provide nearly 30 different pieces of information for every diamond, and 11 to 12 different forms of media for every diamond that comes out of our factory. This includes whether the diamond has black inclusion in the center, on the side of the table, or on the corner, or whether the pattern of inclusions in the diamond are scattered or concentrated, they're light, they're hard. We have a lot of different information pieces for every customer to assess before they make their decision to purchase the piece, because our intention is to build long-term trust and long-term transparency with our customers. We don't want them to be surprised when they receive a piece. So I looked at this as a GVS2, but it looks a little borderline G and a borderline VS2. We inform them in advance that this is a H plus kind of a G, and this is a VS2 minus kind of a VS2, so that our customers are able to trust us and understand that we are here in business to be with you in the long term, rather than make the transaction go through if you don't care about so much details. So that has been the foundation of the organization, and the belief that we work hard towards answering what the customer really wants to know from the diamond, and what they would like us to create for them and solve it. There were 3 ideas that I thought I would take from where we are into the next few years as an industry together. So the 3 ideas are the ones that I am working on personally myself as challenges or opportunities within our organization. And briefly, the first one is about how we can create more stories about every diamond that goes out of our unit. We, believe that diamonds are in the luxury segment, but very commoditized as a product, especially in the solitaire space. So that's one challenge we're working on. Another challenge for our whole industry is to how we can retain and sustain the trust of our customers for the entire industry overall. And the last one, just briefly at the end, that I will cover is how we can think about solving, identifying current problems and creating solutions. So the first way to create a story for a consumer is, the first step is to understand what the customer is looking for, right? We have to try to understand their journey, their purchasing process, and then accordingly we can create a story for them. Now, one pain point that we usually interact with when we sell to retailers who are selling to consumers is today consumers are very brilliantly aware of what they're buying. I think a retailer can't today tell a customer कि ये आपके लिए SI1 color grade का diamond है, K for king best है. That cannot happen today, right? Because GI's mission for protecting consumers' interest is already successful, and GI has been able to establish that standard for ensuring that consumers are able to understand the rarity and preciousness of the gems they are buying. And so that cannot happen because the consumers are expressing their expertise on diamonds today. They are looking for deals. Their mindset is more like I'll go to 5 shops, I'll look online, I'll find where is the cheapest 1 carat GVS one that I can buy. and they keep hunting in this direction, which unfortunately is not the best direction, right, for a consumer to be looking for, and not especially not when it's a luxury industry. If you're buying tomatoes on a vegetable shop, it's going to be consumed today and you're going to forget about it tomorrow. So if you spend 2 minutes extra to find someone who's selling it at 5% lesser, it could probably be worth it. But buying jewelry, buying diamonds is a lifetime investment. It's something that's going to be very precious for you. And what often we don't realize when we receive these complaints from our customers is that the end consumer is currently in this phase, in this mindset, but actually they have something greater going on in their life at that point of time. What they're in to buy is probably a gift for their loved one. It's an anniversary for their wife, or someone gave birth to a beautiful child. They're probably marking an important milestone in their life. They're going to feel special about whatever they buy. And when we try to understand this is actually the main purpose of the consumers buying the product. But unfortunately, the previous slide takes over 80% nearly of their whole buying conversation and buying experience. So we have to try to think of creating stories that can really elevate the actual purpose of their buying that piece of diamond or jewelry. And that's the area that I believe we have a lack of stories in. We have a lack of product communication in, especially in our segment of diamond solitaires. And we know stories matter, right? Because stories somehow have this unique wiring in our brain to be able to remember stories much more clearly. Nice example that we tried to look at was in the luxury segment, the story of Rolls-Royce car is probably the most talked about. They talk about how much time it takes to build each of their cars, them being handcrafted. One single man paints all the pinstripes on the car by his own hand. The embroidered headliner has 250,000 stitches on it. And, despite all the effort that they do, they won't sell it to anyone that comes and walks into the store. You will need to qualify to be able to buy that car. And that's a luxury story that, inspires us to try to create something in that same direction. And not that our product has any less craftsmanship in it, or any less product stories to tell. So there are three kinds of stories that we identified. There could be more in the world that are available to create for diamonds, but there are three main aspects that we have tried to realize and try to work on. The first one is the history of diamonds itself, right? Diamonds itself have a very rich, powerful story along the years, how they were discovered, how they came to be, how they were recognized as precious gems and amazing things to gift and to express your royalty. The second type of story, and we are going to go into a little bit detail about each in the following slides. The second part is the story of that particular shape. We don't make same copper pipe every time, right? We have different kinds of shapes, and every shape has some or the other story behind it, when it was crafted, who made it, who designed it, and why it was designed, overall. And then the third segment that we try to work on is the journey of each specific piece that customer is interacting with. What is the journey of that particular diamond? Where did it come from? Who worked on making it, and how much effort goes behind making that particular piece that the consumer is holding? And they have different purposes. The history of diamonds could probably be used more in category marketing, in ensuring that we are creating the background before the product is discussed with the customer. And the following ones could be more of transactional importance elevation. So the first one that we could talk about is the history of diamond itself, right? They are one of the most talked about gems in history in many forms, formally, informally. And we know that these are all the facts and figures. They're not the stories that are 200% easier to remember, right? We can tell customers that they are 3,500 million to 90 million years old. They are, they take 50,000 times higher pressure than what we feel in the room today. But the challenge is, how do we convert these into stories? Can we tell the the customer that this diamond that you're looking at started being formed during the Ice Age, and then gradually when Lord Krishna was on earth, they were nearly ready, and he was almost blessing them before they were ready to be extracted from 100 miles below the earth's surface. And then they came to be for you. And just like your life and just like everything else, pressure creates the most beautiful diamonds, just like difficult circumstances make beautiful people. And so that's the kind of stories that we can create based on just the history that we have, the rich legacy that we have of the product and of the industry. And there have been cases of history making in the industry, which we can also refer to as, places of making additional stories. Your 5-carat oval is a 1/20 replica of the Kohinoor, because that was also an oval, and I've made it in the same proportions like the Kohinoor. And that's a story that the customer will remember more than being a 5-carat oval that they could buy. They will create more conversation. It will create more pride. And of course, there are other general facts that we also know and that we can use to create these stories. Natural diamonds are as rare as only one exercise ball being filled by all 1-carat diamonds in the world every year. All 5-carat diamonds made in 1 year can only fit one basketball. That's how rare the product that they're talking about is. How difficult it is to recover them, and how rare it is to find them, and who originally found them, etc. We can talk about what diamonds have done to communities globally, and to change the entire face of so many economies and so many communities. And a large part of what diamonds have done to the world has been retained locally in that same community itself. And these are things that have not happened in the last 2 years or 10 years or even 20 years. They've been happening for 100 and 200 and 500 years as such. And the second part, of course, is how we can create a story of the particular shape that is being discussed with the customer. I'm going to run a short video of an amalgamation of all the facts. By the way, all of this is just basic Google search information, right? It's not something that someone has had to spend 3 months of research expedition to find. They're all available to us very quickly and easily. It's up to us what we create of them. Can there be volume? see that there is so much about a shape that we can, talk about. For example, you look at the emerald and the princess coming together, and think about a baby being born, and you know that the mother wears an emerald shaped ring and the father wears a princess shaped ring. And for your baby, of course, you need something that's an amalgamation of the two. So you need a radiant shaped diamond ring for this occasion. That's the kind of stories that really will empower the customer to really think about what they're buying, and to really make it a little more exciting and inspirational. These are just a few other facts of other shapes, and you know how to find more about any shape in the world. And someone told me, I don't know if it's true, but the pear shape was designed based on some sailor's wife looking at her husband go away, and there was a tear drop in her eye, and that reminded the sailor to think about her wife with that tear, and then he probably created something like a pear-shaped diamond. Now, I don't know if this is true, but this is just an idea of what kind of stories can be created and can become amazing storytelling tools in our consumer interactions. And the third kind of story that we can create is the journey of that particular piece that is being offered to the customer, and make that piece's history and geography and chemistry and biology owned by the person buying the piece. We know the journey of a diamond coming all through its processes of looking as a normal rock on the street when it comes to a crafting hub like ours, and then being gradually thought about and transformed through multiple stages of a lot of thought and effort into the final polished piece that is ready to sell. And the weight transformation from its original form to its final form, and how many days it takes to make that specific piece. We could add information about where it was made, who made it, what amazing things happen in that place that you are contributing to, because you are owning the journey and the history of that piece itself. And there are, of course, third-party verifiable ways of sharing this journey as well. GI themselves create a diamond origin report. I remember for a few very special pieces, they can create a book that talks about a lot of these information pieces as well. There are other tools as well, such as Tracer and Serene, which are all trying to build this experience in a very modern and a very deliverable way. And at the end, all of this has to come together for the customer in a very tailor-made experience for the customer. The traditional offering, that usually comes out of a retail store is a white packet like that. I'm sure many of you have seen this, and they will be like, I have a piece coming in from my vendor, एक पुड़िया खोल के हाँ देखिए ये हाथ में ये आपके लिए piece आया है. Even if that piece is worth lakhs and probably crores, the experience is still very efficiency minded and very non-luxurious in that sense of it, in comparison to what ideally other industries and other luxury players are doing beautifully well, where experience comes first and product is second. We don't care about where a very high branded bag or shoe is really made and how much it costs to make that, but the aspiration is for that branded experience of buying it and owning it. And the GI certificate, of course, is a very important baseline assurance that we must provide with every piece, but often we have to remember to not stop at the GI certificate being the only identity of the product. Every piece can have a GI certificate, and every piece is much more special than that. We could try to create some form of more enhanced purchase experiences. This is what we call a Know Your Diamond certificate, where we list out and image out the whole journey of the piece and everything that there is to know about the diamond that is being talked about. We must improve packaging of the product to tailor it to that particular customer who is receiving the product. And these are basically ways to, make better consumer connections. This is what we call a diamond story report, and something that we customize for every piece. It lists out all the things that you've seen earlier, how many days it took to make this particular piece, how did it originally look. And things like these coming with a diamond being delivered to you can just take the experience to another whole level. And you give them a journey video showing them how your piece transformed from its original state to its final state, and you need to keep the video because it's your piece now and the whole journey is also yours. Another aspect of potential for creating better consumer connections is finding a twin, right? Finding a matching pair of diamonds is as or probably more difficult than finding a pair of twins that look the same and behave the same way. Why don't we as an industry make it that much more special for the customer? So if you see here, this is actually two wireframes overlapped on each other. One is red and one is blue. And there will be minor differences in every piece, of course. But when you overlap them on each other and show the customer that both the pieces look nearly the same, they don't have a lot of difference, and it's so difficult to find two diamonds that look nearly the same, and they're just like finding a twin. And only if we communicate that and create that content can we deliver such experiences. And of course, in general benefits of having stories with products, the customer has better conviction. The word of mouth is stronger. They feel prouder of what they'll tell 10 friends. My piece is like a Kohinoor. My pieces come from somewhere in Botswana where XYZ happens. Or, my piece is this shape because of this reason. And these kind of conversations really help the product appeal and the product aspiration be built stronger, right? And the second part of my idea is, how we can think about jewelry, which all of us will probably be called in the future, as it used to be. When you think about a complex disease that you have, you tend to naturally trust a doctor because they are the ones who can solve these problems. And like they say, हीरे की असली परख सिर्फ जौहरी को होती है. And that conversation needs to retain its importance and retain its value as a position in the industry. And once you are GIA graduates, you will hold that position when you would go out with your non-industry friends and they know this person is from the jewelry industry. There is a different mindset that we naturally have created. Just the same way that if there was a doctor in your friends group, you would naturally have a different understanding of who they are and what they do. And in the same way, jewelry as a position also traditionally has a lot of respect. It has that understanding that very valuable pieces that come from nature can only be valued and understood by a very few select people in the world. And those people are the ones who hold this title. So we need to value that position of ourselves primarily, and then how we can capitalize on it and ensure that the world also values this position with the same amount of honor and respect. And of course, it comes with a lot of additional associated, by granted things like, maintaining the trust, ethics, transparency with customers. And only then can that position of a jewelry that we are all building towards become that much more valuable and precious. And the last, small thing that I wanted to talk about is how we can find more areas of differentiation and product development, which is something that our Indian efficiency-minded businessmen are not very used to doing. And of course, the first step naturally is to understand the customer's behavior, understand the customer's problems, understand their aspirations, understand their challenges, and then accordingly we try to customize the product experience and the service to deliver with that innovation and with that solution to deliver that differentiation and product development. Let's all ensure that we don't become just another jewelry valuer or jewelry seller or diamond expert. We need to create something more out of what is available with us and create that value addition for ourselves and for the customers that will entrust you with that particular purchase or particular piece. And that's all that I had to talk about today. These are the ideas that I was working on, and I thought just putting the seeds in could one day yield into some of you helping me build this together stronger and better, not just for ourselves but also for the industry. Thank you.